Now, I've just welcomed you on behalf of the National Research Foundation, so I thought I'd just take a few minutes just to tell you who we are, in case you don't already know who we are. The National Research Foundation is the premier granting agency in the country. And if we have to compare ourselves, we would compare ourselves with agencies like the National Science Foundation in the States. However, we operate in a very different environment, on a very different scale, and with a different budget. But we do have some of the very similar priorities. So for the NRF, this is what we are mandated to do by an act of Parliament that makes us a parastatal. And as you'll see, our primary focus is on human capital development, but it's also not just human capital development, but human capital development for knowledge generation and for innovation. If we want to be part of a global economy, if we want to be competitive globally, then we have to have the right skill set in the country. I think everybody knows that we have high unemployment in the country and that we have a huge need for developing human resources. But if we really want to be up there and cutting edge, then we also need to play in that cutting edge frontier sciences arena while we're still addressing the backlogs that we have in our education system. But we don't just want to do research and generate knowledge for the sake of generating knowledge. Ultimately, we want to see that there is an improvement to the quality of life of the people of our country. If not, all we're doing is entertaining ourselves in our research environments. Now, the NRF, in its activities, is driven by a strategic plan, Vision 2015, and that's very simple: world-class research, a transformed society, and a sustainable environment. So this is pervasive in all that we do. There are three main key areas in which we operate, and you see that middle block, the big one, is the research business unit, so to speak, of the NRF, and that's where the internship program is managed from. That's the granting arm of the NRF. But we also have a science advancement and community engagement arm, which is, at the moment, we have SASTA, South African Agency for the Advancement of Science and Technology, but that is being expanded because we, firstly, given the needs in the country, to have engagement with society. If we take, for example, things like genetically modified organisms, how does it impact on you? And translating that research so that the general public understand that research. And that is also an area that some of you might be interested in. And then we have the third key area of our activity, which is the national facilities. And given that we're in the Western Cape, the best example I can give you is Itemba Laboratories, not too far from here. They are a national facility, and they generally house equipment which is quite substantive, and it's not the kind of equipment that you would want to replicate elsewhere at many institutions. Usually, the kind of equipment that you have is one of its kind in the country. But they, whilst their responsibility is to provide research infrastructure as a national facility, they also do undertake research, they also do postgraduate training, and we do have some of our interns that are based at the national facilities as well. The internship program is managed from the Human and Institutional Capacity Development Directorate. There are, at the moment, 5 directorates in RISA, and we will be having 8 shortly. The Human Capacity Development Directorate, where we reside, is one of those directorates. As I said, the internship program is headed by Dr. Thandi Mwedi. If you're interested in finding out more, we invite you to visit our website. But you'll see that we have a very broad descriptor of what we do in our directorate, and it's because we have quite a full range of programs that we manage in this directorate, including bursary scholarships, fellowships, and if you want to know more about that, then Dr. Webby and her team are the people to talk to again. Now, this internship program has been going for a long time, since 2005, you'll see, and we recently had a review or produced a publication that has reflected on what have we achieved with this program. And this, I think we're very proud to say, is one of the best internship programs that we have in the country. And indicative of that is the fact that the budget for this program is really growing substantially. We've had in the next 3 years, including this year, quite a large increase in the budget to substantially increase the number of interns that we have. But of course, no program like this can be a success without collective efforts, and that is the interns, the mentors, the host institutions that host you as interns, that host occasions such as this, the NRF staff, the DST, friends like Dr. Molefi who come and help us make this program what it is. We're also proud of the fact that we have at least 60% of the interns that leave the program gaining employment. And not having a job to step into immediately you graduate is not necessarily a poor reflection on you as an individual. Such is the world. When you don't have experience, it's very difficult to break into the job market. And what the internship program gives you is that opportunity for you to test a work environment to see whether it appeals to you, for the employees to get to know you, for you to get the experience. Part of experience in a reference is reliability. Are you somebody that is reliable? Are you punctual? And those are the little kinds of things, in addition to the skills and training that you get, that really build your CV. Most of us are first generation graduates. We also don't have the networks. We don't have people to easily open doors for us, and this is what this internship program does. It opens opportunities for you. Now, we're talking here about an internship program, but the one message that I want to send to you as the next generation of researchers, leaders, managers, innovators, is that you always have to look at yourself first personally. Where am I going? Where do I fit nationally? And where do we fit globally? Because ultimately, as I said, our individual efforts collectively make us as a country successful or unsuccessful. So these are some of the challenges that we face in a global environment. I don't have to say much about financial stability. We've all seen what's happening to our currency. We know we have a food crisis. While many of us are well fed, there's still large components in our country and globally where food security is a problem. Economical stability. We have quite good governance in the country. We do have some challenges, or many challenges should I say, but if you look at how our banks survived the global downturn, we do have things to be proud of in the country. We know we have an energy crisis, again, not just for us. Climate change is impacting on our lives. Political stability, we've just seen what has happened. We've lost a number of our soldiers on the continent in the last few days. And then we are consumers, and we need to reflect on how we as individuals consume and what can we do to make an impact on preserving and not exhausting our resources. Food security, again, I've mentioned. So I've said, there's you as an individual, you are developing and steering your own career, but you're also part of a country and a global village. Now, you know, we've all heard the term reading for a degree when we take the Oxbridge terminology, but research today is now much, much broader. And as I've said before when I talked about SASTA, that it also incorporates public engagement to communicate that science. Just doing the science is not good enough. And importantly for us as a country, not just with civil society, but if our policymakers and Parliament don't understand what we're doing and why we need to do it, then why would they want to invest more funds in science, engineering, and technology? So as you develop your skills, that's something to also think about, and it will become increasingly more important as you progress in your careers. We also throw the word innovation around a lot, so I thought I'd just put one of the many definitions down for you. And broadly, you can consider it to be a process of bringing new products, processes, and services to market for economic or social benefit. So having clever ideas and producing something doesn't necessarily make it innovation. It's when we're able to translate that into some benefit that we talk is what we really want to drive in innovation. Now I have a whole list here of what are the kinds of things that we need for a national innovation system. Our white paper speaks about a national innovation system, and it is not just high-end skills that we're talking about. Obviously, firstly, you need the human capital development. You need the new knowledge, which will lead to these innovations. You need to create markets. You need to look at what are quality issues if you're producing drugs, for example, or even if you are in fields like nanotechnology. The environment within which you're functioning becomes important. So that's a whole area, enhancing entrepreneurship, the kinds of institutions that you have in the system, networking, intellectual property management, taxation, legislation, safety regulations, investment options, incubating activities, financing of innovation processes and commercialization activities, and consultancy services. Now the reason that I put this list up is so that you could all memorize it during the course of the day, or you could look at it as the wide spectrum of possibilities for you to steer your career. Not all of us, or myself and Dr. Nwebe, have chosen a path of research management as opposed to staying as active researchers. Sometimes we have our regrets. But this is to give you a sense of there's a whole plethora of options out there. And it's about finding an area that you're passionate about and that complements you and your interests. I must also add that a lot of this is what we call training for the 21st century. Some of these jobs exist to a very small degree in the country. If we take patent lawyers, we can probably count them all on one and two hands in the country. So that's an open field. Now, if we look again, where do we stand as a country? Professor Stark mentioned some of the targets that have been set in the National Development Plan, and I do advise you, as broadening your knowledge, to go and look at documents that are freely available on the website, like our white paper on science and technology, other strategies. The National Development Plan, you will see, also speaks very specifically to targets for not just economic development, but also on the high-end skills development. So the reality is that we've had a decrease in the percentage of postgraduate students enrolled at universities. And while we are pleased that at least 60% of our interns get employed, we would also like to see some of you redirect yourselves back into postgraduate studies to help build that next generation of high-end skills in the country. We've also seen a decline in the number of honours students, and we've been trying to address that between NRF and DST to increase the values and the number of bursaries for honours students, because once you join the job market without an honours degree, that becomes a barrier. It's very difficult to do that honours degree part-time. And if you then want to pursue further your studies with a master's or a doctorate, that becomes a huge hurdle. It is easier to do a master's part-time, but not optimal. But not getting an honours before you join the job market can be quite a hurdle if you want to further your studies. And then, of course, we only have a third of our university academic staff that have doctoral degrees. Now, if we don't address that, and we're expecting again, it's from amongst yourselves that we're going to get some of that cohort of the next generation of scientific and academic leadership. Think of the crisis we have in our schools at the moment with not having sufficient, suitably qualified teachers. So think of what would happen if, in 10 years' time, many of these academics are retired and not there, and we're not replenishing the next generation. So let's come back then to the internship program. Why do we want to have an internship program? We know that there are vacancies in the country, but at the same time we have high unemployment. So we are bridging that gap to make you more marketable. And as I said, the fact that you're an unemployed set graduate is not necessarily a poor reflection on you. It's about matching the individual to the environment and about getting those other experiences that make you more attractive to an employer. We do have a number of unemployed graduates, and as I said, that is why there has been this political will to invest more heavily in this program. We know there are skills shortages in the country, and there are specific skills that you get in your undergraduate or even postgraduate degree that don't always make you ready for industry. Now, we have increased the number of host institutions for the interns program substantially over the years, and I think we're in excess of 60 now, and growing. So we're really also expanding the opportunities for institutions at which you can do your training. What are some of the benefits? Again, I have a whole list here of benefits that you will get. But at the end of the day, this is an opportunity for you to gain experience, for you to build your CV, for you to make yourself more marketable. And I've not said much about the mentors, but really we would not have an internship program without the host institutions and without the mentors. So this is really an opportunity also for you and your mentor to grow alongside each other. Now, who are the key players in the internship program? As I've said, we have a political will in the country, and we're really pleased that we've had the budget for this program grow substantially. We have the financial resources, and we as the Department of Science and Technology are parastatal, as I've said, and we report to the Department of Science and Technology. So they are the people that hold our purse strings and whom we report to. We have the NRF as the managing agency that we represent here. As I've said, the host institutions excuse me, are critical, but we also have some very specific host institutions that I want to mention here, like South African, like SARIMA, which is the South African Research and Innovation Management Association, And the partnership that we have with them is to create the opportunity for interns to gain experience in research management and administration in the research offices of the universities. Now that's twofold, because many of the universities need to strengthen their research management offices, but this also gives another option to our graduates to training. We also have had interns at the National Advisory Council to the Minister. We've seen changes in that structure. The Department of Trade and Industry has also come on board as a partner to help and partner with us to identify further industry partners in which to place the interns. Of course, as I said, mentors are key in this program, and you, the stars of the show. The success of this program is also shown in publications such as this one, which featured the internship program. So it's a program that is gaining quite a brand in the country and substantial recognition. Now, what do you have to aim for? As I said, key to all of this is we're creating the space for you to steer your career path. And again, thanks to Dr. Tandi Mwebi and her team, we do have an annual internship day. It's not just a day to celebrate what the interns have achieved during the year, but we also have an opportunity for selected interns to present the work that they've done during the course of the year. We have poster sessions, we have a competition for the best presentation, and that is reviewed by academics in the various disciplines. And of course we have a certificate ceremony, an award ceremony. So this is what you're aiming for at the end of the day, so set your sights high. In closing then, I'll leave you with two quotations. The first one says, "There is no telling how many miles you will have to run while chasing a dream. And remember, though, that when you believe in yourself, the possibilities are endless. So take it and run with it." The other quote I leave you to think about in the next 12 months is, "It might be insane to live with a dream, but it is sheer madness to live without one." With that, I wish you all the success in the year, and do take some time to have fun as well. Thank you.